Thank you, Vice Chair McDonald. We are live and good to go.
Thank you, Mr. Clement. Welcome everybody, and thank you very much for braving it through the snow today. We are Monday, January 26th at 4 p.m. in the hybrid room of council chambers, just starting the Township of Cavan, Monaghan, Millbrook Valley Trails Advisory Committee monthly meeting with a call to order. We'll start with the land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the Township of Cavan, Monaghan is located on the Treaty 20 Mississauga territory in the traditional territory of the Mississauga Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to First Nations for their care for and teachings about these lands. May we honor these teachings. As Vice Chair, I'll be chairing the meeting for the first wee bit while Mr. Jackson is finishing up a call at work. First off, we'll need approval of the agenda. Did everyone have a chance to review the agenda? I'm sorry, Barry. I should, you know what? Thank you very much for raising your hand, because it reminds me to say we welcome Council Member Jerry Byrne, who is here in Council Member Lance Natchoff's stead. Thank you very much, Jerry, for helping us out today. Approval of the agenda. Vote, please.
Sorry, Chair McDonald, Vice Chair McDonald, do you mind calling out a mover and a seconder?
Oh, sure. I will do that. I have a frozen brain. Could I have a motion to accept the agenda as posted? Second. Thank you. We're good.
Call vote.
No, all in favor.
All in favor?
Yep.
Thank you. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest at all? That said, we'll move on to approval of the minutes of the meeting held November 24th, 2025. Are there any amendments to the minutes as posted? No, I didn't hear any from the folks who aren't here. That said, may I have a motion to approve the minutes as posted? Saskia, seconded by John Follis. Vote. All in favor, so moved. Okay. So we'll move on to financial reports with Chris Allison.
Thank you. So we are still in, we just had second draft of the budget. We still have final draft to go. As of right now, we have contracted services at $2,000 and materials and supplies at $6,000. Now these numbers have remained so far. We haven't spent anything yet this year, so that's where we're at there. As for the Millbrook Valley Trails master plan, there was $25,000 that was requested. Council has approved $10,000 to transfer to reserves for the master plan. And with regards to the Soudan property, no direction was given. No funds have been received towards purchasing land. Maybe we do have that in work plan. We can talk about that a little bit later, but financial wise, that's where we're at.
Okay. And just to clarify, thank you very much, Chris. Just to clarify, so with regards to reserves, that too is still awaiting final.
Yeah, so we're still in the process. We still February 2nd is the next budget meeting. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So a motion to accept the, oh, sorry, John.
Going to move.
Yeah, a motion to accept the financial report. Saskia, second by John, and thank you. And all in favor? Thank you. And now Meredith Carter with the Orca report, please.
Thank you so much. Through you, Madam Chair. I'm very appreciative of the remote participation opportunity, so thank you very much. I did want to let you know the tree seedling sales program is open. We'll be accepting orders until April 5th. And we have some changes this year, which is great. We have some new options. You can order 3-inch peat pots individually. You can order 1 to 2 gallon pots individually of some species. And of course, the regular bare root seedlings. And we've got a selection of just over 40 native species. So please give that some thought. As always, the species list is on our website. If it's easier, should the committee wish, I can certainly send it as an Excel spreadsheet as well. In terms of other updates, I don't have a lot. We did have our annual general meeting last week, and that was lovely. A great chance to celebrate all of the achievements of the year. And just to let you know that we do have a flood watch in effect right now. Given the extreme cold temperatures, there is the potential for frazzle ice generation. And that frazzle ice is kind of like an ice slushy, and you get it when you have those really cold temperatures and turbulent water. And if you have that frazzle ice, it can collect on things like bridge abutments or down trees or what have you, and restrict flows. So it can cause flooding in certain areas. As always, our flood watch is on our website. And should you wish to receive those flood messages directly, you can always subscribe right through our website, and then you'll get them directly via email. And I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone may have.
Thank you, Meredith. I was wondering, given that we did some buckthorn remediation this year in a particular area, a very prominent area right near Baxter Creek, adjacent a bridge, I was wondering if it might be possible to have someone from Orca come out and advise us as to what species would be best suited to that area. We're wanting berrying species in particular, we think, but also more deciduous and conifer trees in that area. It's mostly cedar and some deciduous trees at this point. But just to give us some extra variety, because there's more sun now in that area than there was before. Is there anybody from Orca who could come out and do a walkthrough with us in the winter?
Yes, through you, Chair McDonald. Yes, we could certainly come down and take a look. In the winter, it's a little more difficult. If perhaps you could send me an email with the area circled on a map. We're generally familiar with the area, so we can probably provide you with some species options using that. But yeah, if we do need to come out, we certainly can.
Okay, that sounds great. I do have some before and after pictures of the area, so you might be able to discern from that what will be in
that would be perfect. Thank you.
All righty. Anybody else with questions or comments for Meredith? I don't think so. So I'm gonna have a motion to accept the Orca report. Meredith, Jerry, Byrne, and Rob Saxon.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And,
All
yeah, pardon me?
of them.
All those in favor. Thank you. I don't know why that never comes to mind. I think I have some kind of law.
We switch.
Yes, we should switch.
If you want to take the chair, go ahead.
Thank you, Rob. Could I just backtrack just a wee bit, just to make sure that you know where we are with the pipe fit? Or
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
Okay.
What we can do. Do we need a formal motion to switch, Chair?
No,
Okay.
you've seen the
All
show.
right, thank you very much. My apologies for being a bit late. I had some work commitments. Okay, thank you, Ms. Carter, for that update. Yes, just for my, just so that I'm aware, and because it pertains to some of the things in the work plan. Chris, could you just really quickly recap what I'm sure you just said before?
Yeah, no problem,
Thank
no
you.
problem. So we did go through second draft of the budget. We still need to go to final draft, which is February 2nd. So far, right now, contracted services has not changed. It's $2,000. Materials and supplies has not changed. It's $6,000. Nothing has been spent to date this year. As for the master plan, $25,000 was the ask, $10,000 is being transferred to reserves.
Okay,
As for the Southern property, there was no direction by council and no funding provided, so I think with that, we'll talk about it when it comes up in the work plan.
okay.
How to proceed, maybe through the master plan.
And that $10,000 for the master plan, does that still need to be approved February 7th?
Everything still needs to be, the budget isn't
Okay,
approved
so
yet,
it's
it's just,
just-
we've gone through second draft and, yeah.
But it's unlikely we'll get more than $10,000 before February 7th.
No, it was cut to $10,000, yeah,
Understood.
yeah.
Okay,
I can't say 100%, but
No, of
I can't
course.
see it going up.
we can, would you prefer to talk further about that, what the implications of that are during the work plan or now?
No, when we get to Southern property, I'll just talk about Southern property when we get to it in the work plan.
Well,
It's the only,
No, I was referring more to the master plan.
oh, well, it was your request to put the money towards the master plan down the road, because the master
Yes.
plan was costing more than 25,000 anyway, so it's into reserves for a future master plan.
Understood. Will that have any impact on the timing of when the master plan will be initiated through an RFP process?
Well, it won't be initiated in 2026 until we have the funding put away for it.
Okay.
So
And
we'll have to make another request next year.
the township is
For more
okay with
funding.
that, obviously, in terms of, it has been
That's
mentioned
the
before, that the
direction of-
master plans
The
are.
direction of council is 10,000 into reserves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then did you receive an invoice from Merit? Home Hardware?
I did, yes, it's out, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so just for the committees, we had, at our November meeting, we spoke about the money in the reserves, so I did go ahead and purchase materials through Merit Home Hardware, for the boardwalk that we talked about, so pressure treated wood, pads, so pressure treated wood being the, 2x6 runners and the 4x4 posts that are required under the new job policy. As well as concrete pads. So we've got everything we need and more, to be able to construct the outstanding boardwalk that we talked about in November. I did not purchase, so sorry, before I go into that, obviously that material is, it's not gonna go away, so we can have that in our fund, so to speak, for future construction projects as well. I did not purchase flagstone because where we purchased it from before, Peterborough Landscape Supply on Keene Road, they had closed for the season. And when I inquired about purchasing it from Cortha Capital on Ashburnham Road, they were not helpful to be honest, but also the delivery was going to cost more than we had earmarked for the material itself. So obviously that's something that we're not going to need for a few more months yet. And so once we have budgets and things confirmed in our February meeting, we can talk about our needs around that and what we want to do. But we only had, I believe, 250 earmarked, and I believe the delivery fee alone was $300. So we can look at other options and maybe get some competing prices when things open back up again in the spring. So I just wanted the committee to be aware of that. Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Yes,
Through the chair, but just for my clarity, you purchased them, but has it been delivered yet? Material wise?
that's what yeah, so I was gonna ask her, it has not, to my knowledge, is that true?
I have not received a call or anything. Did
Yeah.
you give them my contact or do they have your contact?
I did, yeah, so this was money that we need to spend by the end of the year.
Well, that's why I'm just
Yes.
made it sound like it was spent. I just wondered where the product
It
is.
has been spent. We're gonna arrange delivery probably when we have better access to the yard to store it in, because right now there's even more snow, right? But yeah, it's all there, it's all accounted for, and we locked in 2020
Prices,
prices for whatever that's worth.
Yep.
But yes, well, usually I'm happy to go and get materials, but this was a substantial purchase. So I wasn't able to do it on my own, so I think we're gonna need the assistance of the township and their boat trailer or whatever that we do. Okay,
Yeah, just clarity.
yeah, no, thank you for that. Okay, we're moving on to 6.3 then, and trail report, Marine.
Mhm.
And Councillor Matchoff is away, obviously. Thank you, Jerry, for joining us. But yeah, my understanding from previous correspondence is that we didn't necessarily need lights for a portion of the. trail
No,
report
I've
because of-
been out and about,
because of the weather.
well, I've been out and about every day, all,
Oh.
all over. So, and in good company, there are lots and lots of folks out there with me. So I was saying, this, earlier, the snow, pack is fantastic on the trails right now. And, besides that, the trails have been formally groomed. They'll need it again after this snowfall, of course. So all of the trails, including Station Trail, are at their very best at this time of year for anybody who's out there. I still always recommend cleats to people, but there's no glare ice to speak of anymore, and that's unusual for this time of winter. So it's really, really enjoyable. It's a bit like Narnia out there right now. There are no new tree falls that have not already been looked after, either by Public Works or Parks and Rec or the users. There are some old diagonal leans, but they seem quite stable and they are very high and not very accessible, and they don't seem to be affected by the snow that's on them right now. So if they can take this much snow, I think we're in good shape. And the bridges are all in good shape, and there are no tricky exposed boardwalks at this point. So very happy to report. Have not yet typed it up. I was shoveling when I should have been typing. So that is all of it today.
Okay.
Any questions from anybody? Jerry?
Just because I'm new through the chair.
Yeah.
Do you have a spot where people who wanted to use the trail could report a problem and go directly to Chris? Is there like a contact information if they're out there? And they see something, they can actually report it, or how do you do that?
There are trail websites that people are reporting trail findings on, yeah, and Facebook. And sometimes, occasionally you'll see it on Hoopla that there's something, because, yeah, and often it's to report something that was lost or found and where it is, that kind of thing. All of us are fairly well known to the community as trail users and members, and so that's helpful too. A lot of the downtown merchants know who we are, and they hear complaints, not complaints, but comments, usually very positive, but sometimes asking about things that they would like to see happen on the trails. And so we hear from them as well. So
I think also Jerry, to add to that, the vast majority of the committee are out there most days. So we're always looking out for them.
I just wondered if there was either a spot on our webpage that they could contact anybody. I just asking because first opportunity to do it.
Just on our regular comment page,
Yeah.
anybody can comment on anything. As for the committee, they're very good. They always just email me if there's an issue and we take care of it.
Yeah, mostly it's trees down, we don't have any control over, and
No, but
don't know when it's gonna happen, right? But yeah, we try to keep the boardwalks and the infrastructure in good condition, but you know, on months like this, when it's under 2 feet of snow, it's hard to tell what's happening. But that's sort of usually what the trail reports are for. So we've got a broken board here, we need a replacement here, we need some shoring up there, sort of.
Through you, the chair, as we're integrating that new GIS map, would that possibly be an option to have a comment section or something, or someone to provide feedback so we could? I know there'd be a lot of.
Yeah, I don't think they, we have a public comment
Okay.
on that. It just, then you get out of hand into
Yeah, you're getting comments.
like your Google Plus and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Having sort through.
Just to kind of add on to what Chris is saying, for a variety of things, just like with our council live streams, we prefer not to have any sort of public comments, because then you have to manage and people put all sorts of things
Yeah.
over there, including inappropriate things, and it's not a good use of staff time. There's plenty of other ways that we can receive feedback, and if anybody spots an issue for the trails, staff are definitely happy to investigate it and do it. And of course, we're happy for the committee's eyes on this as well.
Okay, wonderful. Any other questions for Maureen around the trail report? Okay, motion to receive the trail report. John, seconded by Gary, all in favor? Wonderful. Okay, moving on to general business, 7.1, the working plan. You could bring that up for a minute. Okay, number one, trail master plan update. So Chris said, anything else to add to that?
No, that's where we're at right now. So, well, actually, so we did originally get the, quote in, which was between $50,000 and $100,000. Since, that quote, I was talking to Orca, if they'd entertain, the trail master plan update. They did, meet internally, and, we have discussed that it is something that they might, they would entertain going forward.
Okay.
So, with it being transferred to reserves, we were thinking maybe that's a project for the Millbrook Valley Trails this year, because they would like to see like a little better scope of what we're looking for in the plan.
Okay.
So that they could give us some actual pricing on it to see how much it's gonna, like how detailed it has to be, where we really want to go with it, how long. So that's something we were thinking the committee could work on this year, is coming up with the scope, and so we can get it back and get a good price for next year and see where we can go with the master plan next budget.
Okay, I guess I would ask, the township would like to proceed with that, even though there's only $10,000 in the budget now. Because I'm just wondering, does it make sense to have more money in the reserve, or,
But we'll need, we need the outline and scope of what you want to get the proper pricing to request
Yeah, no, I
for the
understand.
2027
okay,
budget, right?
okay, so.
So if we
what would that
know we've
look
got
like?
10,000 in reserves, it's gonna be 35,000. We're gonna have to budget 25,000 for 2027.
Right, okay, so what would that look like from a committee perspective, like a formal report?
So I think the committee needs to review the document we have, and then maybe we could discuss a few meetings. Whether you like what's in that document right now, whether you think it needs more detail to it. It's kind of like, see the report right now and see what you'd like to see in it, and discuss what we'd like to see, and then we could build a scope of
Okay.
what we'd like to see in the next plan coming up. Then it'd give them an idea of the work they have to put into it.
Would you like that done at a committee like this, or would you like that sort of done offline through a few committee members and presented to the committee?
Sorry, not to put
Yeah.
my fingers on the scale, but just because this is a procedural matter, because it's something that's meaningful to the business of the committee, and it would probably involve a majority of committee members procedurally, we would be required to have that done in an open meeting almost certainly. If there's maybe some one-on-one discussions the committee members want to have with staff as like part of consultation on the scope, that could be done off meeting. But I think it would be good to have the committee's feedback on the current the trail master plan and suggestions in the scope in meeting, if
Okay.
you want to get together and do it.
Understood. I guess my comment on that would be, given the fairly large scope of that, would it make sense to have a separate meeting, separate from our normal committee meeting, just given the size of the document and the discussion that may entail?
I would need to get back to you for an answer. That is a possible option. It have to be a separate agenda item would be my recommendation when we're building the agenda, so it would dominate in meetings regardless. Let me follow up with you after the meeting. I think more so it's time frame of when it would be a good idea to start exploring that, and then we can start figuring out the specifics about if we need a separate meeting, or we meet monthly. There might be enough time to do it in one meeting or two meetings, depending on when it's.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be all in one meeting, like we could stretch it out a few meetings.
Exactly.
Do a chunk each month, right?
So-
We, just to say, we have very few meetings this year because of the kind of year it is, being an election year. And this is the kind of thing that's gonna grow to fill time. I'm just wondering if we could involve right from the start, some of the folks who are still here in the township, office, and admin who were here when the first trail master plan was put together and who have been very involved in the negotiations with developers and that kind of thing over the years, so that we have a better sense of what is possible and what is not possible, given the change in the landscape here.
Yeah, we can pull people into those meetings.
Yeah.
That's no problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be, I think that would be helpful. It would
Yeah, we get one
help
planner
us
to come
answer
in,
questions right.
Planner to come in
Yeah.
for one meeting, yeah,
Jerry, do you have a
it's
comment?
possible.
Through the chair, so just for my future reference, this master plan, the work plan, is it an organic thing that you are developing in-house? Or use farming out to a consultant like we always seem to be doing, and I hate that, so.
So the request was a consultant, yeah, we will be.
Oh, you're gonna hire
doing
a
it. Yeah, so
consultant.
we have, we got a quote from a consultant for this year's budget, and we've also talked to Orca about it as our consultant.
This was the practice with our previous trail master plan. I believe it was last done in 2013, I want to say, and it was done for a consultant as well, so.
Quite a bit older than it should.
Well, I realize
Yeah,
it's-
yeah,
I just see where money goes steadily out the door and no outcomes come
yeah,
back.
we see.
Yeah, I think we were all surprised at the price tag we were given at 50 to 100,000 for a master plan, but
Mhm.
we may be able to mitigate that, as Chris is saying. Okay, well, Mark, if you could get back to us on that, maybe for next meeting, or
Yeah.
prior to that.
No problem. Let's have, Chris and I will talk and we'll have a conversation and does the committee have a copy of the current trail master plan?
Mhm.
Okay, good. I know it is on the township's website, so we'll follow up after the meeting and see what we can do to discuss it in the February meeting.
Yeah, let us know if you want to add it as an agenda item.
Yeah.
We can come prepared.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, okay.
We'll consult with you because you are the chair.
Everybody okay with that? Okay, number two, North Trail expansion. I haven't seen anything more on this. Chris or Mark, are you aware of any additional info coming out?
Not at this time, no.
Okay. Okay, so I guess we'll keep that as ongoing. For number three, trail expansion options. Chris, did you want to elaborate a bit on what you previously said during the budget discussion?
Yeah, so it was presented to council by yourself. And there was no direction provided to the staff and no additional funding was put in the budget for the purchase of the property. So this is one of those items that we think you would go into the new master plan, because the current master plan, this trail is not
Identified.
it's not identified in the plan right now, so this would be one that if you want in the plan, this is something you kind of want to see in that plan, so this would be part of your scope, right? Like
Yep.
you want to add this trail in this section, a little more information on that.
Great, okay, we'll certainly add that into the discussions. Maybe then we need to change that to on hold? Or do we want to keep it as ongoing because we'll continue to discuss the option of it in the master plan discussion?
I think we could probably just change the wording that it'd be part of the.
Part of
trails
the
master
trail
plan,
master
the new
plan.
trail
Yeah.
master plan,
Okay.
yeah, we'll just change the wording in it, yeah.
Number four, GIS mapping of the Millbrook Valley Trails. Is there any?
No, me and Marine sort of got snowed out, I think, so we did our first walk and took the pictures, so maybe it'd be best in the spring to regroup and get some nice spring pictures and then look to launch after we get that. Get that all,
You folks, you've been so busy with snow removal and tree removal and that kind of thing, but if there is a beautiful day someday when
Yeah,
you
like-
have time, just call,
Yeah,
try to
if-
be in touch with me and I can go out with you.
oh, for sure, and if you guys can get pictures, as long as we can get them on a stick and I can get them on the computer, I can load it into it.
Mhm.
But I just, like Kirk we were gonna try to get Kirk wanting to do it at home and we just can't, kind of won't get privileges to a non-staff member to do it, so.
Okay.
I did ask her if he could put them on a disc, he could bring them in, we could sit down and add it into the trail where it is.
Okay.
Cause he knows where the pictures were taken, right? So it's,
Yeah.
so we could sit down, we can pull it up on the screen and okay, it's here and we can add pictures in, so.
Great.
So we could do it right in the field or we could do it.
Okay, wonderful. And Kirk was amenable to that?
What's that?
Kirk was okay with that?
Yeah,
Did you? Okay.
yeah, so I don't know if he's
That's it.
putting them on a disc or not, he didn't really answer whether he was gonna.
Okay, I'll follow up with
But
him.
yeah.
Did you get a comment from Kirk? Mark, about his attendance tonight?
No, as far as I know, I did not have any regrets from him, though.
Yes, I
I got word from Dave
Okay.
and Griffin.
So, yeah, my understanding is he's got a lot of nice
Oh,
pictures.
he's got a lot, yeah, I'll follow up with him as well.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
National Geographic level
Yeah.
pictures.
So they'd be good ones
Mhm.
added in.
To the chair, just curious, are the trails, are they laid out in some kind of a grid? Formation so that when this GIS mapping comes in, that people have reference where they are, and if you're gonna load pictures. Maybe they can be time stamped and grid located, so somebody could actually figure out where's where.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all GPS, yeah.
Just that the pictures have.
Entered into that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
other than the ones
Yeah.
that, yeah, it's, wait till you see it, it is
Impressive.
really.
So, yeah, it's just like
yeah.
the GPS in your car, you can be walking through the trails and it shows you right where you are and everything comes up, picture here and. Yeah.
Yeah, and we wouldn't call it a grid because it's very, the landscape is very ravined
Mm-hmm.
and everything's, so it isn't a grid other than that it's GIS. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We do have, pamphlet maps for people who are not digitally, savvy. And yeah, there you go. But more and more, especially those folks who are getting out far and wide, because we now have 13 kilometers going all the way out to the Ganny. Yeah, so, so this is a very small portion of it. And as you can see, it's
Yep.
meandering. And then, from here, the scale changes completely. So this is much longer than all of that. And it,
So, yeah, to show that better, sort of in the future.
yeah, exactly. And then you can see all the terrain markings and the marshy areas and and the pictures give people landmarks that some of which are already familiar to them and others of which they now will know to look for and appreciate. So it is phenomenal. The folks who put it together for us at the county did a phenomenal job.
Okay, great. So moving on to number 5, John, any update?
No, I have nothing to report at this time.
Okay.
So we did meet with them and they're bringing back a second draft of the agreement. It was agreement from another municipality that they just had finalized. So they've taken it back and doing some adjustments to it, and they're gonna get back to us with a second draft.
Okay, is there any timing on that?
No timeline.
Okay. Okay, number 6, that's on hold. Number 7, that's ongoing. We can visit that in the spring once we get budgets finalized. Number 8, on hold, and Mr. D'Agostino's not here to talk about it. Number 9, design of pamphlet bag dispensers, ongoing. I've had a lot of, I had some heating issues in my workshop, so I'm not gonna go out there now and do them. But we'll get there hopefully for the spring, and get those out. Number 10, completed for 2025. Thanks for the work from Maureen on that. And we'll revisit that in the spring for 2026. Number 11, advisory committee trails construction maintenance policy. Just the status on that, Chris, is that still a draft or is that passed?
No, we've received comments. We're just it's just in for final approval and we'll bring it back.
Okay, yes. So presumably by the time we might start building in the spring.
Oh, yeah,
it'll be
yeah, yeah.
finalized?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Number 12, commemoration of community members on trails. I had reached out to the community member in person, in question rather, prior to the holidays, and I've not heard back. I meant to follow up today, actually, to give an update that I just ran out of time with my other work commitments. But I will do that this week.
Meant to mention to you, Dan, not my Dan, who was your predecessor as chair.
Yeah.
He and I met, I'd never met him before, met by chance out on the trail. And he said that he has a lot of background information on the gentleman in question, and he'd like to give you some input.
Oh, okay, I'll give him a shout.
So, yeah, if you don't mind,
Dan, yeah.
that would be wonderful.
Yeah, okay.
And he is out on the trails quite frequently.
Yeah.
We see him on.
Okay, I'll follow up with
Yeah,
Dan this
yeah.
week and then we can get, once we get hopefully agreement, et cetera, we can get that black
Yeah.
up and again, once weather permits, get it up. Number 13, trail maintenance and repairs, so I think that we discussed that ongoing, the materials have been purchased. Again, we've already gotten seeded in the yard for the actual top portion of the boardwalk, and now we have the other underlying material as well. We just need to get it delivered and wait for the snow to melt so we can actually build.
Right, just a quick one. Is that for both the section on station and then also?
Oh, yeah.
Is there anywhere else we know of that we're gonna be building this in the spring that we should be looking at getting?
No, that's okay.
I think there's a lot of boardwalk right there to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, so the original permit was Station Trail, and then we added on Baxter Creek.
So it includes both
They
of
were-
those.
Yeah, they're both good till October.
Yeah, and we'll see what the snow melt reveals. With
Yeah.
the other stuff that we need to do, we can talk about it then.
Just to the committee through the chair, after the budget is approved on February 2nd or whenever council decides to approve it, it will have to be by the end of February statutorily. I'll add the new items to the committees, to the work plan, so you're aware of the money you're working with for the projects this year.
Okay, good. Thank you. Any questions, comments on the work plan? No, okay, moving on, 7.2, items for next meeting, we've already talked about the cost of.
Sorry, to Chair
Motion to
Jackson.
approve, motion to approve the work plan. Saskia and John, all in favor? Motion passed, thank you. Moving on to items for the next meeting, we've already talked about the possibility of discussion, a larger discussion around the scope of what we want to see in the next trails master plan. Is there anything else anybody would like to add at this time? Okay.
Just if we're, you should put in our order by April, we only have 2 meetings to discuss our trees, so maybe that should be discussed already at next meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, did Ms. Carter, did you mention trees in your presentation? I'm sorry, I missed that. Okay, when do we need to have those orders in?
It's April, she said.
It's the big-
April 5th.
Okay. All right, well, yeah, well, let's discuss it, and yeah, let's add that as an agenda item, thank you, Saskia.
Mhm.
And we can do some research on what we've ordered in the past, and Maureen always is a good voice, as anybody has suggestions, please feel free, right?
I'll be back and forth with Meredith. I'm gonna send her pictures of the buckthorn remediation area and ask her advice as to what extended variety of species we could use there beyond what, beyond what we usually get.
Okay, so we've got potentially the scope of the master plan, depending on what you gentlemen come back with, and the discussion around purchases of trees and work out. John?
Following up on that, so we're supposed to have gone through the old master plan for the next meeting?
Not necessarily, let's see what township comes back with, but I don't think it would hurt to.
I think it's good for everybody to go through it, because
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna be doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody, if you don't have a physical copy, as Mark said, it's available on the website, so it wouldn't hurt to
Yeah.
just go through, read through it, and and give some thought on what you would like to see, right? We talked about the Snowden property. If there's something else that you think needs expansion of an existing trail, radiation of an existing trail, or a brand new locations where you think it might make sense to put trail. Yes, John.
So I believe I missed the one meeting where there was some of the discussion about this, but I believe there was some discussion about whether we should be looking at other areas.
Yes.
And so I think I have thought about that a bit, and I think that there was kind of two ideas put forward, but one of the ideas was we really have enough to look after with one committee. So if there's a separate area to be considered, should it be a separate master plan? Or do we take what steps we need to have a bigger master plan for, you know, say the Cabin Bog or something like that?
Well, I think those are things that we could discuss in these
Yeah,
meetings.
but
right?
I
Like, we've already talked about Snowden property, we've already talked about the North Trail expansion, right? So the new development, what that's gonna look like, those two items should, in my opinion, be added to the trail master plan. There are items in the trail master plan from 2013 version that may not make sense anymore. So we might remove those and we might replace them with other things, or might just remove them completely. So it's all those discussions.
But the other discussion that I've heard, not necessarily with this group, but there's nothing in the north end of the township. And if we were going to try to do something in the north end of the township, I'm not sure, from my standpoint, I think this committee really has enough area to deal with. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, right.
So if
No, I
we're
agree.
gonna,
I think those would come out, those types of discussions would come out during our scope, if we want to identify areas in the north, then maybe. That would generate a discussion around a possible other committee, or what our sort of remit is in this committee.
I think the consultant would help with all that stuff, too,
Yeah.
right? Like that's sort of where they would come in.
Whether any other trails that are constructed anywhere else, and this is, you know, a hypothetical on hypothetical, obviously, we would revisit the terms of reference of the committee, as we do usually at the start of every term in council, but if there's a need to make an amendment to that, because there's a trail system in what was formerly the geographic township of Cabin, sorry, I'm being pedantic.
No,
just from a relevant perspective, then we would have that discussion then.
John?
so I guess when I'm through you, I think I'm asking staff whether you want us to have an opinion on whether it's two committees or whether we will hear about that in the terms of reference. Like, is staff gonna make that decision, or is that gonna be something?
Well, I think it'd be all part of the process of the
Mhm.
master plan, right? It'd
Yeah.
be discussions, it'd be the consultant, what the consultant comes forward with. I think it's,
Sorry, I
Yeah,
don't like,
go ahead.
I don't like arguing with you, but the consultant. I don't think the consultant could maybe hear from us, but it's either the committee or staff have to decide how they want to do it, because I'm not, you know, like, I'm not sure it's up to the,
no, I think it's kind of up to the recommendations that the consultant puts forward, right? Like that might be a recommendation that you have to, it might be the recommendation you stick with one township wide, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can't really say right now that township says yes, we'll have two, or committee says yes, we'll have two. I think you gotta gather all your information and we see what the recommendations are that come in through the consultation process.
Through you, Chair, just can I understand what the scope of what we'd be asking these people to come in and do? Like, are we just giving them the entire map of Cabin Monaghan and telling us what areas are available for trails or where they've suggested? Or are we going to them and being like, we're suggesting areas and trails in these areas? Is it possible? What are the limitations? What's the environmental impact? That kind of stuff. Like, what is the actual scope they'd be doing?
Well, that's what we gotta talk about, is the scope. Like, what do you wanna see out of this new master plan?
So it's
Yeah.
our choice if we come to them with already suggestions and they're just narrowing it down versus we're giving them carte blanche, basically.
It's gonna be a back and forth
Yeah.
between the two, right? It's, yeah.
I think the idea would be to, sorry, John, for the committee to chair is, we I think Chris is looking for some broad criteria to basically kind of have some scope in mind to settle down with the consultant on pricing and to let them have an understanding of the amount of work that needs to be done. And then there's going to be a little back and forth, like you have to consult your stakeholders and see what is the needs of the township. And the committee, of course, is going to be a key component in the consultation out of process. And then they're going to make the recommendations. They might not align with what the committee's vision of the trails are, but they might very well. And then we'll go from there. But I think, yeah, it's just about having a understanding. If the committee thinks there is a need for trails up in Cavan, for instance, then I think that's something that the committee could put forward.
But yeah, I think the part that I'm feeling in it, you know, I'm old, it doesn't matter, but if you want a committee to do it, then you trust your committee. If you want to hire a consultant, then you hire a consultant. But you don't really need a committee if you think the consultant's going to do the best job. They're going to have the meetings. I don't imagine you're going to have us have the meetings.
No, it'll be the consultant, yeah.
Yeah,
So we're looking to the committee right now to what you would like to see in this master plan, so that we can let them know sort of, like, is it the master plan that we have right now, just expanded a bit? You want a little more of like sustainability or wilderness trails? Like, what are you sort of looking at to this plan, so we can go back to the consultant and say, okay, this is sort of what we're looking for out of it. What kind of price
yeah,
can you quote on it? And then when the consultant does come in, then it's going to be consulting with the committee, consulting with stakeholders, public meetings. It's going to be the whole process, right?
Jerry.
Through the chair, so I'm only here for the day, so it doesn't mean much. I'm a big advocate for incorporating the entire township, that includes North Monaghan. And the problem with two committees is, from my experience over the last years, getting any committee together and having enough volunteers is a problem. But then again, having two separate interests where the focus is based down in Millbrook is gonna be a problem for other issues. The other thing I was gonna comment on was, I've seen it happen a number of times. We spent a lot of money on consultants, and then the direction is whatever staff or whatever the committee decides to do, and we kind of ignore the cost and the knowledge we supposedly got from the consultants. What I was gonna ask though was, this Snowden property, it's vacant land right now, is that, and I don't know if it's landlocked, is it?
It's partially township owned, and there's two parcels that are privately owned. So basically the committee was looking at putting a trail through, but they would have to purchase two properties.
And they don't have
No road access to.
no
the
road
land.
access to the
Yeah.
private properties, and they front on the creek.
Because at the time it came up at discussion,
Mhm.
I kind of thought the township owned some right of ways through that area, but I could be mistaken, and I didn't go into any depth that day because of the direction it was going at the time, but it just seemed like you people would have a better handle on that than I was informed back then.
So you might recall from the map that was put up during Robert's presentation, there's blocks, there's township property, you get a little further in, there's a private property. Then township, and then private property. So the loop was coming down, so we'd have to purchase property here, property down here to get the loop to connect.
And that's mainly based on geography. It's quite steep in there, and we looked at options to avoid the private property, but there wasn't really options because of the way you traverse it.
On that note, has anybody heard or approached the private owner to see their inclination?
Separate ones.
Yeah, to you, Councillor Byrne, through the chair. So staff did have a discussion of this as the committee brought forward the idea of this proposed new trail. And we determined that we needed direct support from council before we proceeded with any follow-up about talking to the property owner about any potential prices. You're a bit familiar, there's an entire process with the purchasing of land, and we would just want to make sure we had council's support before we advanced.
I was just more curious if there's any inclination on the part of the other owner or two owners. Because there's nothing being done with the property right now.
No, that's the presentation to council at budget, so I was looking for direction on whether to investigate it.
Just to be clear, we wouldn't mention, if we did have any conversations with the property owner, we would not discuss in the note meeting.
Following up on what Jerry was saying, though, how far down does the road allowance for Main Street go?
I couldn't tell you right now.
Yeah, we'd have to follow up with our
Is that-
public works staff to give you a precise answer on
Because
that.
that might be helpful if Main Street goes straight through their design. Theoretically.
Yeah, I think we need to look at all that when we get.
Yeah, like planning did give us their update on that.
Just through chair, I think too, most of our conversations, as I understood it, had eliminated one of those properties, and we were
Yes.
just gonna stay north and only consider one of the two properties. Just, I think this would become a whole hassle to go down that, if we can stay at the top of the escarpment, it would be a much nicer trip.
It is crazy.
I believe at the September, the budget meeting where the committee pushed forward the motion, not I believe, I'm certain about this, the committee had a motion supporting a truncated version of the trail
Yeah.
that only traversed that one private property.
We just kept referring to two, and I wanted to make that clear.
No, you're 100% correct.
It's quite wet, that property, the second of the properties, it's
I
quite.
saw something at the council meeting, but I wasn't sure.
Mhm.
Just,
So we were looking at looping just at that, above the escarpment,
Yeah, so
not going
maybe
down.
that's something we need.
This was for sale privately a few years ago.
Okay.
Like online, right, because she's years, but anyway. Okay, any other thoughts on agenda for February's meeting? No, I think we need a motion for
Yeah, actually, just have the committee support for the addition of the items, if you don't mind, Chair.
that. Committee support the addition of those items, John and Marie. All in favor? Wonderful. Okay, I believe our next meeting is February 23rd, 4 p.m.
On the trail report, I think. Douglas and
Based on, okay, all good, all right, I'll follow up with Dave and make sure he's aware as well.
That's what I-
Are you, okay, wonderful. Okay, motion for adjournment. John, second by Saskia, all in favor? Thank you, everybody, for your time. See you next time.